Now, we haven't had a chance or a reason really to talk a lot about Zack Wheeler as of late. In fact, we haven't really had to talk much about the Phillies in general. A lot of the hot stove updates have been other teams, and we've been following what's going on around the league. Of course, keeping an eye on how that affects the Phillies and who potentially will be added to the Phillies. Well, let's talk about some extensions in terms of Zack Wheeler. Now, Zack Wheeler is set to become a free agent after the 2024 season, which is the last of his 5-year, $118 million deal that he signed back prior to 2020. And I know we talked about it on the show before that Zack Wheeler's extension has to be a priority. We've talked Aaron Nola signing. We've talked Bryce Harper's contract being rejigged and reconfigured. And Zack Wheeler's extension is absolutely something that's a priority. And we know Dave Dombrowski did mention when asked about Zack Wheeler around the time of Aaron Nola's signing, he mentioned, we know we'd like to keep him in the organization for a lengthy period, but it's not always easy. So it's something that I'm sure we'll pursue at some point, but I'm not sure at this point how important it is for Wheeler's camp at this time. Now, Todd Zalecki did write a piece on this, Jamie, and talking about the future for Zack, whether or not that extension happens and what it means if it doesn't happen. What are your thoughts on Zack Wheeler's extension needing to be signed?
It was in Todd's story yesterday where he mentioned the Wheeler extension, and it just got me thinking, like, in terms of priority of Phillies moves to come, is this actually the next most important thing? Because Aaron Nola's taken care of. That stress has been relieved. You need an outfielder, but I'm getting the sense that they're not going to go like huge and spend big money on an outfielder. Bullpen arms are always added to what degree or via trade or whatever. So they're kind of minor things. And Todd's point in his story yesterday was like, I think it's his sense that there's not that pressure from the Wheeler camp to get a deal done.
Yeah.
Because hitting free agency right now, like, he's not going to do anything until Yamamoto signs.
Yeah.
And when Yamamoto signs, he's going to go, okay, if he got 205, I can probably get 230 or 240. He is a little bit older. He's older than Aaron Nola. He's, I believe, 34. Yeah. So by the end of this deal, depending on how many years, is he one of these Scherzer, Verlander types that can go into their early 40s? I don't know. He's shown no signs of declining. But I think a Zack Wheeler extension might be the next big Phillies move, or maybe another way to say it is the most important next move that they make. So Todd really got me thinking with that yesterday, because I do think it's the most important thing the Phillies are going to have on the table in front of them this offseason. We're on the doorstep of the winter meetings here where a lot of stuff's going to happen. And I'm sure Zack Wheeler's camp isn't in a rush because free agency might be very appealing to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I know as Todd was posing the question about if Zack Wheeler's camp would like to test the waters a bit and see what numbers, they can entertain in free agency. Listen, every year the market goes up. The price tag goes up.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Correct. Period, Jamie. And so for Zack Wheeler, the ace and the best pitcher in the league right now, one of the top pitchers in the league right now, to have an opportunity to stick his toes out in the free agency waters and see what sticks. As Dave Dombrowski talked about around Aaron Nola, it's consistent for everybody. Free agency is an opportunity for guys to kind of see what their options are. And even if he's not considering leaving the Phillies, to at least put that pressure on that his contract extension or, whatever his future looks like needs to match what other pitchers are getting, especially as one of the best in the league right now. So when you talk about Verlander and Scherzer, I mean, Zack Wheeler signing a deal like each of them have signed in recent years could make sense.